On the busy, sun-drenched streets of Tel Aviv, where the city's pulse is felt in every step and every conversation, something subtle but remarkable began to unfold. Amid the familiar hum of Hebrew and the lively chatter of tourists from around the world, a new sound quietly joined the city's daily symphony. A gentle murmur in Tagalog, the language of the Philippines. In playgrounds, you might hear a mother call out, "Yalla, anak, let's go!" blending Hebrew, Arabic, and Tagalog in a single, affectionate sentence. At the bustling shuk, an elderly man might ask his caregiver, "Gusto mo ito? Do you want this?" as they share a moment of connection over fresh produce. This wasn't the result of a government initiative or a fleeting social trend. It was something deeper, more organic. Tagalog, once spoken quietly among caregivers, was now taking root in Israeli homes, echoing in hallways and kitchens, woven into bedtime stories and daily routines. At first, many assumed it was just a handful of families picking up a few phrases from their caregivers, a novelty that would fade. But soon, Israeli children were switching between Hebrew and Tagalog with surprising ease, their vocabularies expanding with every shared meal and story. They spoke lovingly of their Lola and Tita, not by blood, but by bond, Filipina caregivers who had become cherished members of the family. This was a quiet revolution, unfolding not in the halls of parliament, but in kitchens filled with laughter and living rooms where cultures blended seamlessly. Tagalog became the language of gratitude, of family redefined, and of love that crossed borders and generations. Tourists found themselves surprised, even delighted to hear Israeli kids asking for tubig, or grandmothers saying salamat with a smile, as if these words had always belonged here. This wasn't a performance for outsiders. It was the new, everyday reality in countless Israeli households, a testament to the bonds formed through care and kindness. The story of how this happened is one of family, friendship, and the quiet, transformative power of care. A story written in two languages, but spoken with one heart. Step inside an Israeli home, and you might see a touching scene. A grandfather relaxing in his favorite chair, quietly watching as his caregiver, Maria, gently helps little Noam build a colorful tower of blocks. The room is filled with warmth and laughter, a blend of generations and cultures coming together in everyday life. Isa, dalawa, tatlo, Noam counts out loud in Tagalog, his small fingers pointing to each block. Maria beams with pride and encouragement, clapping her hands and saying, "Magalomo, maglino, Noam," which means great job in her native language. These simple moments are filled with learning and joy. The language of the home is no longer just Hebrew. It's a lively blend of Hebrew and Tagalog, a unique dialect that everyone, young and old, seems to understand. Conversations flow easily, with words and phrases from both languages mixing naturally, creating a new way for the family to connect. Children run eagerly to their tita, a loving term for auntie in Tagalog, not just for snacks, but for hugs, comfort, and bedtime stories. The caregiver becomes a cherished part of their daily routine, offering both care and companionship. For toddlers, words like kain na, let's eat, and tulog na, time to sleep, are as familiar and comforting as their Hebrew equivalents. These phrases become part of the children's earliest memories, woven into the fabric of their upbringing. Tagalog becomes the language of nurturing and affection, spoken softly during cuddles, whispered at bedtime, and shared through gentle lullabies and stories. It's a language learned not just through words, but through love and daily rituals. For the elderly, caregivers are more than helpers. They become lifelines, patient companions who share stories from faraway places, and slowly build a new way to communicate, bridging gaps of age and language with kindness and understanding. Simple Tagalog words like masarap, delicious, and maganda, beautiful, are spoken at the dinner table, becoming bridges between worlds. These words carry warmth and appreciation, making everyone feel included. The integration of language and culture is most profound for the very young and the very old, who spend the most time with their caregivers. They absorb new words, customs, and ways of seeing the world, often without even realizing it. Under one roof, two cultures and two languages blend seamlessly, creating not just a household, but a true family, one that celebrates its differences and finds unity in shared moments, laughter, and love. This linguistic shift wasn't mandated by the government, nor was it the result of any official decree or policy. It didn't begin with a grand announcement or a government initiative, and no formal program was ever launched to encourage it. Instead, it blossomed quietly from the rhythms of daily life. Caregivers teaching children songs, nursery rhymes, and simple words from their homeland, weaving Tagalog into the fabric of Israeli homes. A gentle lullaby in Tagalog could soothe an Israeli baby like nothing else, creating a unique bond that transcended language barriers. Parents witnessed the joy, comfort, and sense of security this brought their children, and they welcomed it wholeheartedly, seeing their children thrive in this loving environment. The transformation was mutual. Caregivers learned Hebrew, prepared traditional Israeli dishes, and joined in celebrating Jewish holidays, becoming part of family traditions. Israeli families, in turn, began to pick up Tagalog phrases, learning to greet, thank, and express affection as a gesture of respect and appreciation for their caregivers' culture. This ongoing exchange created a powerful sense of reciprocity, trust, and belonging, blurring the lines between employer and family. Tagalog became a private language of love and comfort within the household, a secret code that deepened their connection. The caregiver was no longer just an employee, but a cherished family member, woven into the story of the family itself. The spread of Tagalog was a testament to the human capacity for connection, empathy, and the willingness to embrace new cultures. Cultural barriers faded away as people shared their lives, their meals, and their celebrations, caring for one another as equals. This was a quiet revolution of the heart, changing the sound and spirit of a nation, one family at a time, and leaving a legacy of love that would echo for generations. To understand why so many Filipino caregivers are in Israeli homes, we must look back to 1947. The Philippines cast a crucial vote for the creation of Israel at the United Nations, the only Asian country to do so. This act of friendship was never forgotten. Decades later, as Israel's society aged, families needed caregivers, and Filipinos sought work abroad. A natural partnership formed, rooted in mutual respect and gratitude. The first Filipino caregivers arrived in the late 1980s, bringing not just skills, but warmth and culture. They entered the homes of Holocaust survivors and elderly Israelis, quickly becoming more than just workers. Israelis welcomed them as friends from a nation that had stood by them in a pivotal moment. This historical bond paved the way for deep, personal connections in everyday life. The friendship that began in the halls of the UN now flourished in Israeli living rooms. In Hebrew, mishpacha means family, a word that for many Israelis grew to include their Filipina caregiver. This shift didn't happen overnight. It was built on countless small acts of kindness and trust. Caregivers became confidants, friends, and emotional anchors, not just helpers. They celebrated birthdays, listened to stories, and offered comfort during hard times. During holidays, caregivers became part of the festivities, lighting the menorah and sharing gifts. In return, families honored their caregivers' traditions, sometimes celebrating Christmas together. Children especially saw their caregivers as family, often correcting parents. "She's not a helper, she's our tita." The caregiver's role extended far beyond her job description. She became a true member of the family, woven into its fabric. The new definition of mishpacha was shaped by love, not just blood. This bond redefined what it means to belong. As bonds deepened, Tagalog became the language of comfort and affection. Gentle phrases like "hinga ng malalim," take a deep breath, and "wag kang mag-alala," don't worry, soothed anxieties. For children, Tagalog was the language of lullabies, play, and unconditional love. The soft words of a caregiver felt like a warm blanket. Parents noticed their children were calmer, their elderly parents more at ease. Tagalog carried an emotional weight of gentleness and compassion. Israeli family members began using Tagalog words to express care and affection. A quick exchange in Tagalog became a private moment, a special code between caregiver and child. The language was more than communication. It was a builder of relationships. Tagalog stitched the caregiver's heart to the family, creating a tapestry of shared emotion. The kitchen became a vibrant space for cultural exchange. Filipino chicken adobo simmered one night, Israeli shakshuka sizzled the next morning. Caregivers introduced families to Filipino dishes like lumpia and pancit, which children grew to love. Elderly Israelis found comfort in arroz caldo, a warm chicken and rice porridge. In return, caregivers mastered Israeli recipes, preparing holiday dishes and learning family traditions. Cooking together became a cherished activity, with recipes and stories shared across generations. Mealtimes were about more than food. They were about celebrating a new, blended family culture. The dinner table became a place where adobo and shakshuka existed in perfect harmony. In Israeli culture, the savda, grandmother, is the heart of the family. Over years, many Filipino caregivers became more than helpers. They became new kinds of grandmothers. They were there for first steps, first words, and every milestone. When biological grandparents were far away or gone, caregivers filled that nurturing role. Children called them Lola, or even Savta Maria, blending cultures and titles. This was the ultimate sign of acceptance and love. Caregivers attended school plays, birthdays, and family celebrations as honored members. They offered advice, shared values, and shaped the next generation. The family's capacity for love expanded to include another grandmother figure. These remarkable women left an indelible mark of warmth and care on Israeli children's hearts. The story of Israelis speaking Tagalog is about the enduring power of human connection. Learning Tagalog was an act of love, a way to say, "You are family." A generation of Israelis grew up with two cultures, two languages, and often two grandmothers. The bond with their Filipina caregivers lasts a lifetime, even after the work is done. Families stay in touch, send gifts, and sometimes visit the Philippines. This phenomenon is a lesson in compassion and understanding, built in everyday moments. The friendship between Israel and the Philippines found its truest expression in ordinary homes. The sound of Tagalog on Israeli streets is a legacy of love, sacrifice, and open-hearted embrace. Sometimes, the most profound changes come from the simple, transformative force of love.